Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Saltx Technology Holding report for Q2. Carl-Johan Linnér, CEO of the company, and with my side here, I have also CFO Harald.
Good morning.
Very welcome to this presentation. We will have some packages for pictures here that we will going to go through. And we will, you know that it's possible to raise questions during the whole presentation in the chat forum, so that we will take at the end of the presentation. We write the 20th of August after a fantastic summer in Sweden. Here we are really up to speed after the vacation. And we are happy to make this presentation for you. There will be some new slides, some old slides, but this is a slide that actually describes what Saltx Technology is all about. And we are an enabler. I like that word. You know, we are an enabler that make the transition towards global decarbonization possible. And I think everyone have seen and everyone has a great interest in the discussion that is going on now in media for all of us. And I'm particularly thinking about the IPCC report, Intergovernmental Panel Climate Changes report that was released in 9th of August, which was and is a bit of it's a sort of an alarm clock that really says that the damages are quite, it's severe. It's much more than we thought, and the transition is actually accelerating more than we think. And this report is really a very important tool for the politicians and for other decision makers, and it's actually based on more than 14,000 scientific reports. So it's actually the true situation that we have, and we can see that the global heating is taking place quicker and faster than we thought, and the CO2 emission is also all more or less on the same level. It's unbelievable, 40 billion ton per year in a global situation, and it's really motivating us to do what we can to enable the transition to a fossil-free society, and because the climate, that's our future. There's no doubt about that. So we will do what we can to this, and sorry, we could go back now and see what has happened since the last report that we did. A lot of things that has happened, of course, and some of them we are able to officially tell you, but there's a lot of other things going on also. But what I would like to raise now is, first of all, that we have taken an agreement with Luleå Energi and Luleå Kraft in the north of Sweden to build the first of its kind energy storage application, where we're actually going to use heat to charge the salt. And it's actually waste gas that we are going to use to heat the nano-coated salt. So this will be the first of its kind in the world, and that will be, we have started to plan for it, and we are in a phase that we need to finalize the installation, the pilot installation in Stockholm that we are working with at the moment. So Stockholm will be the base for the upscaling of the sizes here. The Stockholm case will be, we have installed the discharging reactor and the charging reactor is on its way. So we will see the result in short time here. The second thing is actually that we have entered a partnership with ABB regarding the control system, the process control system, which is very, very important because we have seen that the nanocoated salt needs to be optimized towards the reactor, and the reactor needs to be optimized toward the salt. So it's a very mutual sort of mutual interest in those two parts. So that's why it's very so important that we have a control system that we can rely on when it comes to the flow, to the speed, and to the heating, and to the pressure and time inside a fluidized bed reactor. We are not, since we have signed this agreement pretty recently, we will not use ABB in Stockholm pilot, but we will use it in the Luleå case that we are starting to plan for. The third thing that has happened, I think everyone is aware of that. We have managed to raise a new. We have completed a 60 million issue that was very successful, and we have now put the base in for us to continue the development when it comes to the pilot installation that we are planning for the future. So that's the subscription price was set to 4 Swedish kronor per share, and yeah, so that's history now. So the milestones, you might have seen this picture before also. The milestones from 2013 and 2021, you can see here. And in April 2019, we opened up the Berlin plant, what was the first large-scale installation power to steam in the world, and that was with a technology that was used a spiral joule, a heating screw that was actually heating up the nanocoated salt to charge the salt, and the same technology with the discharging reactor. We came out with good results from that installation. However, the technology with spiral joule was not possible to use in large scale applications that we wanted to go to. So therefore we had to change it to fluidized bed, and that's the technology we are using in the Stockholm pilot. I will show more later on to that one also. The Helsinki Energy Challenge was an application that we put in, and we became one of 4 winners. There was more than 250 applications from all over the world, and the task was to get Helsinki fossil-free, to close down the carbon heating elements and all those things. And that to me shows that we have the right competence, we have the right technology to make this happen. We are, as I said in the beginning, the enabler to make this happen. The Luleå pilot has not happened yet, as you know, as I said, and we have started to plan for it, and we are working together with partners to make up the technical platform for it. But again, Stockholm pilot needs to be finalized before we can start push the green button to build Luleå. Very often we hear the word peak shifting, and we know that that's what it's all about, is that we would like to store the energy once the energy is cheap. And that's especially when you talk about the wind and the PV charging, is that you have to take care of that one, because you cannot guarantee the 24/7 production of energy. So 20% of the installed capacity, by experience, by all experts, says 20% needs to be in as an energy storage. And this is also accelerating the process here, because the fluctuation, the volatility is increasing all the time of the energy prices. So it's an open door maybe, but we think that this is very important to keep in mind. The technology that we are using is based on thermochemical storage process. We start with a calcium hydroxide, and we charge it up to 550. We heat it up to 550 degrees by electricity or by heat. And by doing that, you will get the chemical process that the steam, the water H2O will disappear, and the calcium oxide will be left. And that is the pulver that we are storing regardless of time, and you have the same energy day one as you have in after 6 months, 7 months. Once you will discharge it, you add on 120 degrees steam, and you get a very, very quick chemical process, and you will get out 450 degrees Celsius of steam, high value steam that could be used in an industry or district heating, or you can also via a turbine make electricity out of it. Of course, with a less efficiency level, but still you can do that. We talk about product application, we talk about productification of the products, and we are mainly working with 3 areas, 3 applications that are under development. We are in a little bit different stages when it comes to those applications here. The heat-to-heat is the Luleå case, as I talked about, enables the industry to store excess heat energy, and that's precisely what we are doing that we will be doing in Luleå. Power to steam. Berlin installation was power to steam, where we use the spiral joule as a heating and discharging, and Stockholm is also in this application power to steam. And this is our first priority together with heat to heat. The power to power, we realize that it is a market for it, but we don't have we have a concept. Then we know what we will do, but the capacity is limited for us, so we have put the priorities to power to steam and heat to heat. So again, this shows that we are working together with some very important partners. And when it comes to the charging reactor, we work with an Australian company called Saltx Limited, based in Sydney, and they are a very competent company that are specializing in charging reactors, and they call this a falling bed reactor, where you actually put the material on the top of it, and you do the indirect heating, and you get out the calcium oxide in the bottom, and then you store the calcium oxide in the charged salt, and then when you're going to discharge it, we use today a true fluid as bed technology in cooperation with a Japanese-owned global company, Sumitomo Foster Wheeler, and they are based in Finland. And with both Saltx and Sumitomo, we have frequent technical meetings, and we are sitting, so to say, in the same boat, and we are developing and optimizing the reactors in the best way suitable for our nano-coated salt. The nano-coated salt, again, that's everyone understands that this is really the base for the whole thing. But when you look on those things here, and you realize also that the control system, the process system, is very, very important. And once again, then we come to the situation about this perfect match, as we think it is, the partnership agreement with ABB. And they will support us, and we will start up the cooperation in the very near time to optimizing the Luleå installation that we will do. And I'm very pleased with that, because they are a global company and they have a lot of expertise when it comes to large control system and big industrial sizes, but also for small entrepreneurial companies that we are, that they have decided to support us with this one. So this is perfect match. So the ecosystem, then, as a summary, it's a living situation, and it's all the time we have a lot of partners that are in the background of this that we want to add on to this picture. But when it comes to the technical platform for the material, it is Nordkalk that's supplying the calcium hydroxide salt, and it is Wacker, the company that supply the nano coating itself. Nordkalk and Wacker, with our technique, make the recipe for the nano coated salt. Then the technology, I mentioned ABB and Sumitomo and colleagues, they are really the key people here, the key companies that are making it possible to make a complete energy storage solution. Once we have the technical platform, we also need application partners to build the storages. And Sverige, which is a company in the north of Sweden, in Sweden, they are in Stockholm also, that are owned by the industry, steel industry today, and partly also the government, is one of the companies that are supporting us. EnerStore, the Spanish, Portugal, South America company, is also one of the partners that are still developing a storage system, and they are talking to the various customers, but also to various fundings in EU to make this going. Shangliang is another one. We talked about that, the Chinese-based company. It's actually Shangliang Boilers Limited. And they have built an installation, pilot installation, and we need to support them to get the discharging reactor up and running, to be precise. We are a little bit disappointed maybe on Shangliang, because we thought that they should build their own technology, their own reactor, but at the moment we need to increase the dialogue with them, and we need to support them when it comes to that reactor. So, and Vattenfall we still talk to in Berlin, but even though on a very low frequent level at the moment. The drivers for the market growth, we see as a constant increased demand and increased questions from the market. I mentioned this IPCC in the beginning, and it's really I think it's really happening now, and I think that there will be a lot of more strong decisions from politicians and from the governments around the world that we need to take actions now, because we have created this situation, and all the people needs to take care of it also. So the US is back in the Paris Agreement. That's nothing new really, but we know that they are much more active now. China is active, even if they are closing down carbon carbon heating factories, but they're also building new ones. So it's a little bit unpredictable the situation in China, I think. But we are certainly on our way to a new green era, and it's a must. We don't have any choice. We just have to do it. So that's driving the market growth. When it comes to the landscape, competitive landscape, you might have seen this picture before also, is that we have a situation when we compare ourselves with molten salt and concrete and so on, that we have a very high density, energy density of between 500 and 600 kilowatt hours per ton, which makes us unique in this situation. We have an environmental friendly material it's not explosive, not flammable, and it's not corrosive. So it's also possible to transport the salt. You can charge the salt in one place in geographically, and you can discharge it in another without any problems to do that. Looking on the CapEx side, look on the right hand side here, it's actually that the CapEx for this is a large energy storage application, 120 euros per kilowatt hours, which is equal to 1 million Swedish krona, around 1.2 million Swedish krona per megawatt hours. It's a lot of money, but you know it's compared to the others, we are competitive, and we think that we have a lot of other advantages versus molten salt and concrete, size-wise, and also in the OpEx operations. We are on our way in the commercialization. You should read this picture from left to right. We are still in a sort of right-hand side of the development phase, where we are building the pilots, as I have talked about, and we take the full responsibility for those pilots, and we do that because we have to have the competence, and we have to have the know-how how the various reactors and control system and the nanocoated salt works in total. We're spending our own money in this area, but we also do as much as possible soft money, and we have some support in Stockholm now. We are applying for Luleå also in parallel here, but it's very important that we, as quick as possible, come to the right-hand side of this picture, commercial phase situation, where we need to come to a situation where the customer is prepared to pay for this. But there is no shortcuts here, that we need to have a verification of the technology, and we need to have a technology that is process orientated. And what I mean by that is that we need to have Stockholm a third-part verification of that installation. That will then be the base for Luleå, and after that we will continue. Next page. We will continue to build the pre-commercialization pilots 2023, which is not finalized yet, but we talked to a number of customers here, and we are focusing into the area of 5 megawatt size of charging and discharging reactor, and with a capacity of 120 megawatt hours. And they are fairly big, those energy storage applications. But once we have done Stockholm, once we have done Luleå, we are ready to take that step. But looking on Stockholm compared to Luleå, Luleå is about 10 times bigger than Stockholm. And going from Luleå to the pre-commercialization pilot here is going only to be 5 times bigger, but that's quite a big step anyway. But this is the plan that we have worked out, and by year 2024, we the plan is that we will have commercial projects ready up and running that. All out.
Yes, thank you, Carl-Johan.
What do you think about our key figures?
Yes, there are 3 comments I'd like to share with you. Looking at our numbers, you can see that the money, other than just funding the operations here in the office, but development and market-wise and so forth, we also, for the last few quarters and a bit into last year, are funding and investing in the Stockholm pilot. And just the ones who know our balance sheet, that investment is being activated in our balance sheet. So that's number 1. Number 2 is part of that investment is, as in the past, we are attracting some soft money, some public funding from the State Energy Agency. So part of it is funded, and as we go forward, as Carl-Johan just explained, we hope to increase the part funded by others, both from a soft money point of view as well as from partners and customers and going forward. The third last comment has already been mentioned, but I'd just like to point it out. The importance of it is that we raised capital in May, and this time through a directed issue. It's become rather popular in Sweden to do so-called accelerated book buildings, and we did that, attracting, we have a vast spread of investors from a retail point of view, and we now wanted to attract some institutions, and we did so with some success, raised 60 million to the company, which will allow us to go on with our operations for at least a year or so. That's all, Carl-Johan, from
Thank you very much.
Financial comments.
Looking into the questions then. We have received some questions here. As a company that have spent a lot of your investors' money, what is the plan forward? Can you only get financial support from the Swedish government, and how about the EU?
Of course, it's important for us development company to raise capital and to attract capital from public funds, and that's not only and the Swedish government is have different institutions providing such capital. Vinnova is one, State Energy is another, and different projects, and they are spending an awful lot of money, and we are working heavily, and we have successfully in the past been able to attract such capital, and we will continue to do so. EU is the same thing. We have had funding from EU, and we continue to look for EU funding, and that's very important for early stage companies. And we are beyond early stage, but we are still in a development phase, and then those funds are very important. And as Carl-Johan just explained a couple of slides back, we are, in addition to equity from shareholders and soft money, as we develop, we have support from our partners, technical, and some they do things for free just to be part of the development, and we hope that portion will increase and eventually also lead to income to help us.
I think you can add on only that we are doing this in parallel. We're looking to the Horizon 2020 and EU and the green wave money.
Green Deal.
Green Deal, yeah. So, but how should I say, the administration time and the amount of time and reports that we have to do is I shouldn't say 10 times, but it's much more time consuming to do the EU fundings than the Swedish ones. That doesn't say that we will not do it, absolutely not. So we are doing this in parallel. Yeah.
We have been successful in the past, and we have the experience. So of course, we always look out for such fundings. It seems as if you've been very clear this time. There are a few questions, and we round off.
I would say that we are in a very interesting phase now to continue our journey, and we are making something that someone else hasn't done it yet in the world. So we have all the respect and for that, but we will be there, and just be patient with us, and we'll come back with more information as soon as we have them. Thank you very much for listening, and
thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah. Bye-bye.